Hey everybody, it's Teresa. Welcome to my channel. I'm going to make a necklace and a pair of earrings today, and I'm going to use some of the contents of the latest Curated bead box for August 2023 called Bayou Blues. The Curated bead box is a monthly bead subscription. It's $20 a month, and that includes shipping in the United States. I'm not sure if they even ship internationally or not. I have a coupon code. It's Teresa35, and I'll put it on the screen here and in the description box below, along with a link to the page to sign up for the subscription if you're interested. The coupon will save you 35% off your first box if you sign up. So it's $20 a month. That would be a $7 savings off your first box, so that would make your first box $13. I'll also put a link in the corner of this video and in the description box below to the unboxing I did for this box, in case you didn't get to see it and you want to go back and look at it. In here I've got the 12mm golden spot marble style glass beads and some large bead caps from my stash. The beads came in the box. And here I've got the 8mm turquoise marble style glass beads that came in the box. And here I've got the 8mm brown / crystal crackle frosted duo beads that came in the box. And here I've got some bead caps and spacers from my stash. And here I've got some findings. I've got a lobster clasp, a couple of wire guardians, and a couple of 2x2 crimp tubes, a couple of pieces of chain, a little piece of chain I'm going to use as an extender, some of the jump rings that came in the box, and one larger jump ring that came from my stash. I've got one of the 6mm brown spray glass beads that I'm going to dangle off the extender chain, and I've got a ball head pin to do that with. And here is what I'm going to be using for my earrings. I've got two of the 12mm beads, two of the 8mm turquoise beads, a couple of larger bead caps and smaller bead caps from my stash, a couple of ear wires, and then I've got two pieces of 22 gauge German style wire here that I'm going to use for the earrings. I've got the bead stringing wire that came in the box. I've already got a piece cut off there, and I've got a bead stopper on it to hold it together there. I've cut off way too long a piece. I've changed this necklace up a dozen times since I started trying to put it together. It's such a simple necklace, but I've changed it up a dozen times, and I'm still not sure I'm satisfied with it, but I'm going to go ahead and I've got to just leave it alone and make it, or I'm going to be doing this for days. I've got my chain nose pliers, my tweezer pliers, my round nose pliers, and both pairs of my bent chain nose pliers. I've got both pairs of my crimping pliers and both pairs of my cutters. I use these crimping pliers, the Xuron ones, to crimp with, and I use these, the part at the end there, the little circular, it's got a half circle on each side, and I use that to tuck the burrs in when I cut off wire. And I've got both pairs of my cutters. I use one pair for bead stringing wire and the other pair to cut head pins and eye pins and craft wire. And I've got my little New Orleans shot glass to put my wires in when I cut them off. I think that's everything. I'll try to find links and leave them in the description box below to everything I can find links for. So hold on, let me get some of my beads poured out and I'll be back. Okay, I'm going to string this now. This is going to be really simple. I'm going to start with a bead cap, and I use a lot of spacers and bead caps. Y'all, I try not to, but I put stuff, beads on there sometimes without them, and then I go back and think I've just got to have a bead cap in there. I've just got to have a spacer in there. I just can't seem to help myself. And then I'm going to do one of the duo beads, and another bead cap, and a spacer, and a bead cap, and a duo bead, and a bead cap, and a spacer, and a bead cap, and a duo bead, and a bead cap, a spacer, and a bead cap, and a turquoise bead, and a bead cap, and a spacer, and a bead cap, and a duo bead, and a bead cap, and a spacer. Make sure your little bead caps get set down there on the bead like they're supposed to. And a bead cap, and a duo bead, and a bead cap, and a spacer, and a bead cap, and a duo bead, and a bead cap, and a spacer, and a bead cap, and a turquoise bead, and a bead cap, and a spacer, one of my large bead caps, a 12mm bead, another large bead cap, a spacer, a small bead cap, a turquoise bead, a small bead cap, a spacer, large bead cap, a 12mm bead, large bead cap, spacer, small bead cap, turquoise bead, small bead cap, spacer, large bead cap, 12mm bead, large bead cap, spacer, small bead cap, turquoise bead, small bead cap, spacer, well, I had it on there and then I pushed it off. Large bead cap, 12mm bead, large bead cap, spacer, small bead cap, turquoise bead, small bead cap, spacer, large bead cap, 12mm bead, large bead cap, spacer, small bead cap, turquoise bead, small bead cap, spacer, small bead cap, duo bead, small bead cap, spacer, small bead cap, duo bead, small bead cap, spacer. Give myself a little bit more wire down here. Small bead cap, duo bead, small bead cap, spacer, small bead cap, turquoise bead, small bead cap, spacer, small bead cap, duo bead, small bead cap, spacer, small bead cap, duo bead, small bead cap, spacer, small bead cap, duo bead, small bead cap. So that's what I've got. So now I'm going to get my crimp beads and crimp it. Hold on. Okay, I'm going to crimp now. I'm going to take my crimp tube and put it on my wire here and my wire guardian. Come back through the other channel of my wire guardian. And back through my crimp tube. Hold my wires apart so they don't get crossed. I tuck my little wire guardian in a little bit to here. It seems determined to get twisted, but I'm not going to let it. At least I think I'm not going to let it. It might get the best of me. Okay, now I'm going to go into the part of my crimping pliers there that has that tooth. I'm going to lay the tooth on top. I'm going to squeeze. And that puts each little wire in its own channel there. Now there's 3 circular parts there toward the end. I'm going to go in the middle one because that's the one for the 2x2 crimp tubes. I'm going to lay my crimp in there. I'm going to squeeze. And I'm going to go down to the next one, the one for the 1mm crimp tubes, and I'm going to squeeze again just to get a little bit tighter. I'm going to tug. That's good. So now I'm going to cut off my extra wire. I'm going to go down here to this end and do the same thing. Put my crimp tube on. Put Put my wire guardian on. Tuck my little wire guardian in a little. Carefully, because you can easily destroy them. I have destroyed many. Now I'm going to go down the other channel of my crimp tube, or my wire guardian. Back through my crimp tube. And on this side, I try to go through a bead or two to get my hands out of the way while I'm trying to crimp. Okay, now I'm going to hold on to my wire guardian and pull my wire through. Trying to make sure it's not crossed in there. I want to make sure there's no slack in my piece, but I don't want there to be any, I don't want it to be too tight either, or it won't drape well. I want to make sure all my little bead caps are set in the way they're supposed to be. Because it's a real bummer when you get all this done and then you see your bead cap's not not on your bead and you have to go back and do it all over. Trying to get my wire pulled tight enough that it's not popping out the top of my wire guardian there like it seems like it's wanting to do. This is thicker wire than I'm used to working with. Okay, now I'm going to go in the part there with the tooth again. I'm going to put the tooth on top of my crimp. It just does not want to turn around here like I want it to. Okay, now I'm going to put the tooth on top of my crimp and squeeze. Now I'm going to go into that middle part that's for the 2mm crimp tubes again. Squeeze. I'm going to go down to that next one. Squeeze again. Now I'm going to tug. That's good. So now I'm going to cut off my extra wire. Trying very carefully not to cut the wire that has my beads on it. There we go. So that's what I've got now. So hold on, let me get my findings put on here. I'll be back. Okay, I've got my findings here to put this together with. I've got a couple pieces of chain. They're about 4 inches each. Take one of the jump rings that came in the box. Open it up. Thread it onto my chain. Put one side of my necklace on. Make sure you get it closed up really well. Get another jump ring. Thread my chain. Wires are wanting to stick to my chain. Got it on there and dropped it. Put on the other side of my necklace. My jump ring back. Now I have another one of the jump rings that came in the box. Put on this side of my chain and my lobster clasp. Close it up really well. Now I'm going to use this larger jump ring. And I've got about 1.5 inches of extender chain here. Try to get that closed up really well. So that's what I've got now. So hold on, let me get my little bead that I'm going to hang off as the extender chain as a dangle. I'll be back. Okay, I've got my little ball head pin here now, and I'm going to make me a dangle. I'm going to have to put a little 11-0 on here, because if I don't, these little 6mm beads have a very big hole and they slide through my ball head pin there. So I'm going to put a 11-0 on here to keep that from happening. So that'll keep that from sliding off like that. Now I'm going to go to the very tip of my pliers, bend the wire over at a 90-degree angle, take me around those pliers and put them in the crook of the bend, around those pliers facing me, bend the wire back till it hits the bead, rotate the pliers till they're facing the table, hold on tight and bring this wire up and under here until it hits the bottom of the tool, cock the wire back until the loop is centered over the bead, take my bent chain nose pliers, bring this wire down, it's at a 90-degree angle with this wire. I'll take my other pair of bent chain nose pliers, start to wrap. I'll get that first wrap good and tight. Now I'm just going to wrap until there's no more room to wrap. Now I'm going to take my cutters, cut off my extra wire. I'm going to take these crimping pliers and go into that part there at the end that's got the little half circle on each side. I'm going to tuck in my wire, my burr that's left where I cut off my wire. I'm going to take the last link of my extender chain, up, put my little dangle on, close it back up. It's not meeting as good as I want it to. Well, it came off. There's something wrong with that last link. We're just going to have to add it to the next to the last link. I knew something looked wrong there. Okay, there we go. Oh, so there's my little necklace all done. So hold on, I'll get my things together and I'll make a little pair of earrings. Hold on, I'll be back. Okay, I'm going to make one of my earrings here. So I've got another ball head pin. I'll put one of my larger bead caps on here and my 12mm bead and another large bead cap. I'm going to go to the tip of my pliers, bend over at a 90-degree angle, round those pliers in the crook of the bend, round those pliers facing me, bend the wire back until it hits the bead, rotate the pliers till they're facing the table, take this part up and under here until it hits the bottom of the tool, cock the wire back until the loop is centered over the bead. My bent chain nose pliers, hold on to my loop, bring this wire down, my other pair of bent chain nose pliers, start to wrap, make sure to get that first wrap good and tight, just keep wrapping until there's no more room to wrap. Take my cutters, cut off my extra wire, take my crimping pliers and tuck in my burr. Now I've got a piece of my German style wire, and this is about a 4-inch piece of wire, which is much too long for this, but like I said, I have redone this design a dozen times. So now I'm going to go down about 1.5 inches, and I'm going to bend my wire over at a 90-degree angle over the tool. Take my round nose pliers and put them in the crook of the bend. Round nose pliers facing me. Bend the wire back until it hits the tool. Rotate the pliers till they're facing the table. Hold on tight. Take this part up and under here until it hits the bottom of the tool. Cock the wire back until the loop is centered over the wire. And that usually stands your little piece of wire almost straight up there. Now I'm going to open my loop. Thread on my little dangle I made here. Have to open it a little bit more there, I think. Well, it just won't go in there. I do not know what the problem is. I know it's opened well enough. thought it was open well enough. There it is. There it goes. Okay, now I'm going to wrap this shorter piece of wire around the longer piece of wire about 3 times. I'm going to cut my extra wire off. I'm going to put one of my smaller jump rings and one of my turquoise beads and another smaller jump ring. Take my tweezer pliers and I'm going to straighten this loop up down here. It doesn't seem to be straight. Now I'm going to go to the very tip of the pliers. Bend at a 90-degree angle over the pliers. Put my round nose pliers in the crook of the bend. Round nose pliers facing me. Bend the wire back until it hits the bead. Rotate the pliers till they're facing the table. Hold on tight. Take this piece up and under here until it hits the bottom of the tool. Cock the wire back until the loop is centered over the bead. Take my bent chain nose pliers. Hold on to my loop. Take this part down here. Take my other pair of bent chain nose pliers and start to wrap. Get the first wrap good and tight. Just keep wrapping until there's no more room to wrap, which is usually about 3 times. I'm going to cut off the extra wire. Tuck in my little burr on both sides. I'm going to take my ear wire. Open it up. Thread my little earring on. Close it back. So there's my little earring. So I'm going to make the other one off camera and then I'll be back. Okay, there's my very simple little necklace and pair of earrings. I'll get the earrings up here so you can see them a little bit better. And when I was making the second earring off camera, I was listening to the video clip of the first earring that I made on camera, and I heard myself calling the little bead caps on each side of the turquoise bead jump rings. Obviously, they're not jump rings, they're bead caps. I'm telling y'all, it's been one of those days for me for the last 2 days. I've not been able to get anything to come out the way I wanted it to. I have worked on trying to put this very simple necklace together for much longer than it should have taken. When that happens, I just have to walk away for a while and come back to it. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I just finally had to just stop and do it and decide that I was satisfied with it, although I'm still not sure I'm satisfied with it, but but there it is. Like I said, I'll put that coupon code in the description box below and a link to the page to sign up for the subscription if you're interested. The coupon code will save you 35% off your first box if you sign up. I hope you all have enjoyed this video. As always, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate those of you who have subscribed to my channel and watched my videos and liked and commented on my videos. I have a website where I sell my jewelry. It's Teresa's Handmade Jewelry, and I'll put a link to it in the description box below in case you're interested, along with a link to my Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and my email. If you haven't, I'd really love it if you'd subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're notified when I upload a new video. So until next time, I hope you all have a great day. Take care. you.